Hello, art nerds. Don't mind the traffic on my road. Sorry, it's really bad. Anyway, today we're back with the fifth illustration in my Not Your Basic Witch series. I am really loving these. This is such a fun thing. I'm so glad I decided to start this. Even if I'm not super happy with an illustration, every day I'm still like, there's still things that I really like about it, and I'm kind of cultivating a list of things that I'm screwing up that I can hopefully fix and get a little bit better with every day. And hopefully by the end of the month I'll have maybe not fixed my problems, but at least gotten better at identifying at which steps I screw it up, because it's watercolor. So since you're layering a lot, you have a lot of opportunities to fuck it up. And yeah, I'm really good at doing that. So today's illustration is a witch boy, and he is gathering like herbs in, I guess, his maybe like greenhouse sort of plant room in his house. I've got some plants that are hanging on the wall in the right corner, which you can't really see right now because it's not being painted. But he's getting some plants for, something. I don't know if it's, you want to say it's a spell or it's just cooking. Like potion work. I don't know. In any case, I feel like there aren't enough dudes in like magic related illustrations. So there are a couple of pieces this month that I plan to do some dudes, which has a dual purpose because I also don't like paint or draw dudes. I can't honestly think of a single time that I have drawn a male character with watercolor. And I've been dabbling with watercolor for a lot of years. I occasionally will draw them with just like graphite, which I did a lot of during the 100 head challenge, which I started and didn't finish. I'm like 80% of the way through it, so that was just a cop out on my part. Anyway, so I wanted to draw some dudes this month, and I'm kind of happy with him for first go round. Aside from just like kind of gathering some plant life, I tried to make him allergic to it because I'm allergic to like every plant. And I really, I appreciate all of the people with the nice plants in their backgrounds of their like videos and their pictures on Instagram and whatnot. I think it looks really cool. But I'm allergic to like every plant ever. Like I'm allergic to grass, all right? I get like hives when I touch grass. So it's realistically very bad for me to deal with plants. And I also don't see that at all. So I tried to make like his face and his nose and his eyes more red than I normally do, to kind of represent like an allergic reaction. And I don't know, I made the rest of his complexion pretty pale, so in some respects I think that worked. However, having done it, I think that's actually how I just want to do my faces from now on, because I do like extra like blush and just color on faces for my characters. So that was kind of a win and kind of like not. Like I don't think I made him look like he has enough of a reaction. Maybe he just walked in there and he's just starting to have a reaction. We could go with that. That would make me feel better. But yeah, so that was my prompt for today for the fifth Not Your Basic Witch illustration. Was a witch gathering plants or herbs and they're allergic to them. So do with that what you will if you feel like joining in. I kind of like added lots of green again because it's plants, and I'm starting to get really comfortable with that, and I really need to branch out. But I've got like 25 more days, so we'll get there. The main thing that, I don't know that I screwed it up, but it was I don't think that I screwed it up, but I do think that I could learn a lot from practicing more of it, is trying to find the shadows on items in the room based on the window. The window behind his head, I don't have like a strong sunlight feeling coming through. I don't have like beams of sunlight really, but I did try and figure out how to make shadows work. um, and in some places I did better than others. I didn't use any like references to guesstimate where I should put darker or lighter shadows. I just kind of guesstimated without a reference. If you like know what I mean. Like, I'm sure that I've looked at other people doing illustrations that kind of work like this, and I am sure that I have seen pictures in my lifetime that work like this, but I didn't use any of those while actually painting this to figure it out. So, like, in some ways, I'm very happy that I kind of wung it and it kind of worked out. But it's been added to the list that I'm cultivating of things that I keep screwing up, that I need to specifically, like, look at some pictures on Instagram or on Pinterest and say, okay, so this is what the stark contrast of shadows looks like in this room with this particular light source, and to just work on doing that sort of thing without a character in it, to just like do some small pieces where I isolate objects in a room and what their shadows should look like and what the color tones of their shadows should look like, and kind of figure out how that would work. So yeah, that was a thing that I have decided and learned. One of the other things that it took me a while to figure out I should do it, like right now I'm more than halfway through painting and I just did it, was add flooring behind him, because it didn't look right for him to just be in like a blank room, because he's a little bit far away from that bench and the window, and that would mean that, you know, there should be flooring. And as soon as I added that, I was like much happier about just the way the entire illustration looked. It was really funny how much just like a bar of brown realistically made me feel so much better about how I was working. Also, before you say that there's not a second like leg on that table in the back, the like bench space, I, not myself, but family members that I have have had like workbenches that run the length of a wall that they've built themselves, that they haven't like bought. And I have seen that done several times where it's only got the front legs and it's actually fully attached to the wall behind it. That was a conscious choice and decision. Although it would require there to be more shelving, I think, and supports underneath. I'm not familiar enough with how that carpentry worked to add it in, but I did intend for it to be attached to the wall. So we're going to pretend that the angle of the table from here to, you know, you the viewer, it makes up for that it's attached somewhere underneath. Oh my goodness, I can't stop yawning. I had a late night doing this, you guys. But yeah, so that was an intentional choice. I spent quite a bit of time like going back and forth and inking this and then adding the color pencil, and my camera kept dying. So there's a lot of jumping around from this point on, which is why I always include finished pictures of the product at the end so that you can see what I did. Basically, what I did was add color pencil where I thought there should be color pencil. And I used really thin fine liners on the background objects and the things that would be in perspective, like the wood, flooring, and the benches, and the pots and things. And then I used a thicker, like, liner brush pen sort of thing to do all of the line work for him and for the actual herbs. Everything that's living had thicker line work. Again, intentional. I think it worked out pretty well. My major complaint with this is that I spent most of my time looking at it from the angle of me sitting at my desk. And I think that that did not serve him because he has a really long face. So even though it looks okay, that was not intentional. So I need to get better at picking up my piece in the middle of doing it. But anyway, this is my illustration for day 5. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below and have a great day. Go make something.